Well, with the new president and governors also comes new leaders, senators and representatives at the National Assembly. And for positions such as Speaker and Senate President, the competition is fierce. Well, joining us now is Benjamin Kalu, who is a member-elect and contestant for the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. He's also the current spokesman of the 9th House of Representatives. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, apparently you're the only APC reps member that survived the, what's come to be known as the obedient tsunami in Abia State. I wonder how that feels. And of course, you've indicated interest to run for the Speaker of House of Reps.
For the 10th.
What really should
Assembly.
what should be considered in picking the next House of Reps Speaker?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me mention that the decision of what happens with that position, like in any constitutional democracy, is with the party. I'll be throwing my self into the ring if it is zoned to my place, which is Southeast.
Right.
But outside that, we'll be obeying the party because of the supremacy of the party. We believe that it is a party that understands the architecture of government that they want to put in place to be able to achieve their objectives, which they projected to Nigerians when they made their manifesto. And to jettison the party and then run on the frolic of your own is not what some of us would like to do. So we are all waiting for the zoning to come out. But to your question, the Nigerians are the employers, who is going to be the next speaker, because the parliament is the people's parliament. And what happens there is a reflection of the pulse of Nigerians. But if you ask me what Nigerians should be looking at, they should be looking at, where are we at the moment in the country? What is the pulse of the nation? And as you will agree with me that what is happening in the nation now is the politics of inclusion. Everybody's asking, we want to, we want to be included. We are so diversified, accommodate my religion, accommodate my ethnic group, accommodate that. So that has given birth to a lot of agitation around the country. So the speaker that we are bringing on board, or we should bring on board as Nigerian, should be a speaker that is diversity sensitive, that understands that though we are one nation, we have several colorations that must be put into consideration in the use of the gavel. One of the things that we as Nigerians should be looking for also is the impartiality that is found in a speaker. Speaker's impartiality. A speaker that will be able to stand his ground and not for himself, but for the nation. A speaker that will tow along with the members of the parliament, even if that decision is against his own wish. So the wish of the people will stand the rule of the day. We should be looking at a speaker that will be able to project parliamentary sovereignty, where our resolutions, our motions and resolutions, and what comes out of it will be respected. We'll have
so you will not be a rubber stamp House of Reps, is that what you're saying?
I was going to come to that. That's what we've seen in the 9th Assembly that you belong to is more of a rubber stamp,
Allegedly.
Kowtowing party lines,
that accusation,
no rocking the boat.
That accusation has been coming time and again. But the question is, does wearing boxing glove mean that the parliamentary system is that the parliament is working? Does it mean that when we box each other in rank and acrimony, that shows that we are really doing our job? But we've noticed that though we are three arms of government, we are one government, and therefore the national objective is one and the same. So supporting the executive to achieve their goal doesn't mean that we are weak. In fact, it means that we are strong, by making sure that the government succeed when the three arms are efficient, not when one wears the boxing gloves. So
yeah,
that
but
is
there seems to be a
clear on
reluctance
that.
when it comes to applying the doctrine of separation of powers and checks and balances.
No, there's no reluctance there. There is a borderline between what we do with other arms of government and what the doctrine of separation of power preaches. You know, that the independence of this particular arm of government is what I'm speaking about, that any speaker that is coming up should make sure that it is sustained, because it's been sustained. Yeah. Severally, you've seen us at loggerhead with the executive, but not as Nigerians we want it, but as we think is relevant, as we think will be effective to drive good governance. So a speaker that is coming on board should be able to drive that. Another one is institutional trust. Any speaker that is coming on board should be able to drive institutional trust that is given birth to by credibility, by capacity, by transparency, by being accountable. That way, the institution, the dignity of the institution, you know, the trust on the institution will be high. Another one that we should be looking at if we are selecting who will be coming on board to lead us as a speaker is the inequalities. You know, a speaker that is coming on board should be able to address inequalities in participation in the House. You know, this current leadership have tried to make sure that participation in the House, you know, is equal, is open to everyone to embrace. There's a speaker that will come
without passing the, you know, gender bill for 35% affirmation. So where is the right issue coming from?
I'm coming to that. You know, in talking about inequalities, is both participation in the House as well as gender balance, and also a balance between the old members and the new members. You know, there are so many things that we need to balance going forward, while leveraging what has been achieved by the current assembly, because the truth remains that when new government come on board and jettison what has been achieved without leveraging what has been achieved, it takes us backward instead of forward. So a speaker that is coming on board should be a speaker that will be transformative in his you know, legislative interventions, so that what we have achieved, gained so far, and you know we have gained a lot. This ninth assembly has recorded a lot of landmarks, you know, in our interventions and the bills that we have, you know, demystified, like the PIB that became PIA, like the Electoral Act that is more.
Speaking of bills, very quickly, because we have to wrap, I wonder what bills you would like to bring back, those that you think, you know, will make a lot of difference to the life of the Nigerian. For example, the legislation on cannabis. You were a co-sponsor of that bill. Unfortunately, it's been set aside. Are you hoping to bring it back? And really, what would be the benefit of that?
No,
bill?
the most important one we're going to be working on are those 19 bills that we sent to Mr. President. That he has sent it to. We sent 35. He has sent it to 16 of them, and the other 19 is what we are looking at to review why they were sent back and what we can do to be able to get them back again. And one of the important bills among those 19 is the one that borders on gender. That's a huge interest for me, and any speaker that is coming on board must reconsider representing that particular proposition, maybe remodeling it to suit our purpose so that the coming president will give assent. It is important that we increase the inclusion and the participation of the women in our democracy because of the coloration they bring on board. We'll leave cannabis discussion for another day because it's a full interview that I don't think we have enough time to go into exhaust that. But it is something that will be beneficial. We're not looking at recreational use of it. We're looking at the medicinal use of cannabis as allowed,
and the exports and income value.
As allowed by the single UN treaty of 1961, especially if you look at this section, Article 13 of it, if you look at 26 and all the rest of them. There's no time for us to discuss it. I think I'll ask you to invite me back for us to discuss that because the economics around it is sound and we must embrace it.
Benjamin Kalu, you sure would get that day here again on Arise News.
Thank you very much.
Any of our programs. Benjamin Kalu is the spokesman of the outgoing 9th House of Representatives, but he's coming back. He's going to be part of the 10th Assembly.
Indeed.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.